Good evening, everyone. Hi, my name is Sano, and what a beautiful day, 65 years of something truly special, a legacy. Well done. A big round of applause for the Advertising Club Madras. Things are looking good. Virat Kohli is back in form. There is an Indian at 10 Downing Street. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so much to celebrate. And today we're going to meet stalwarts, leaders, legends, and they've created some of the biggest brands, and they turned them viral even before viral actually existed. And most importantly, they shone the spotlight on the kind of talent South has. So really historic stuff. And on behalf of my city, on behalf of my state, thank you so much for showing the entire country how insanely talented we are. Thank you and well done. But before we go ahead and kickstart the proceedings, we also lost a few friends, a few leaders, and I request the audience here a moment of silence for Mr. V. Kalidas. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you so much. We truly miss him today. I now request Mr. Paul Anthony, Senior Vice President, the Max Division of Mudra and President, Advertising Club Madras, to kickstart the proceedings with a welcome address. With a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Anthony, can I have you on stage?
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Most of the stalwarts are here. It is an honor to be standing here this evening at this moment for this occasion to celebrate 65 years of the Ad Club Madras. On behalf of the Executive Committee of Ad Club Madras, the office bearers, and the whole of advertising fraternity, I would like to welcome you all to this wonderful evening. I take this opportunity to welcome Mr. N. Murli, Director Kasturi and Sons, The Hindu, who immediately gave us the consent of presiding over this evening when we met him up with a couple of others. He was so grateful, and there's no second thought of him saying yes for the event. Welcome, sir. I would like to welcome the past presidents. I would like to welcome the Executive Committee, members who have been present here, and other office bearers who have played a pivotal role in building the resilient institution of Ad Club. I would also like to congratulate some of our past presidents who will be felicitated this evening for their invaluable contribution to the club. Without them and their selfless sacrifice, this would have not been an institution what it is today. My gratitude to all our clients, media houses, and in specific to all our sponsors over the years who's been doing along with us or remaining with us. The story of how Advertising Club was started sounds like a startup story of these days. The coming togetherness of the group of people and conceptualizing the birth of this great institution over cups of tea and coffee sounds incredible and fascinating. As this institution and as an industry body, we have always worked for the progress of our industry stakeholders and to create a unified platform to face the challenges that arise from time to time. This journey itself has been fascinating. 65 years of this sentiment is just as valid as it was in 1956, despite the tremendous changes on our industry has gone through. We will continue to focus on reinventing and energizing the communication industry stakeholders and expanding the scope of this wonderful institution. We will look at engaging with the other advertising clubs in the country, other industry bodies, and to create more learnings and the value to our esteemed members of the association. Our hope today is that the same will be true for the next 65 years. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those inspiring words. But come on, Chennai, you can show more energy. It's 65 years, you know, it's not something small, it's something truly extraordinary. And of course, the Advertising Club Madras is indeed very, very special because it's one of the most active and the most successive clubs in our country. And to tell us about the future plans and the functioning of Ad Club, I invite Mr. Balasubramanian S., Secretary, Advertising Club Madras, and National Head Digital in Vinamalar. Can I have you on stage?
Good evening to all. It is an immense pleasure to be part of the 65th year of Advertising Club Madras, one of oldest advertising club in India, to celebrate with you all today. COVID has taught us a lot. The few learning things for all of us in business are to stay calm, collective, and tightly control our operation cost. In order to increase our membership base and attract new members, we offered 1+1 year membership in the year 2020. Maddies, our flagship event, was successfully conducted with over 600 plus entries in September 2021. And subsequently, we conducted a Grand Maddies 2022 in July this year with over 700 plus entries. We launched a couple of new programs, Ad Talk and Brand Quiz, apart from our regular workshops and seminar. On the annual, our relaunching PGDA with the revamped modules as to stay tuned to the current times. Plans are also to collaborate with the leading education institutes to offer a joint certification, thereby offering value to the students. Efforts are on to create an annual advertising conclave property and bring in leading topics and speakers to provide fresh insights and trends in our industry. These are some of the plans which are work in progress, and we are sure we will continue to add more value to our members and other stakeholders by constant engagement and collaboration. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. Srinivasan K. Swami is the Executive Chairman of the R.K. Swami Hansa Group.
Good friend Murali, Paul, is delighted to be part of the 65th year celebration. As per the schedule I saw from Paul, I'm supposed to be speaking only after the felicitation done for all the past presidents, but nevertheless I'm quite happy to say a few words now. You know, 65 years appears very long in the history of mankind, but really it is not. Because if you look at the history of the world, it is just a speck of time that we're dealing with. But this is that speck of time that's important for us because we are not living in a long duration history. I have been part of Ad Club from what, 1985 or something. 88, 89 I became president. I've been part of Ad Club from 1985. And, you know, it was already an established institution. And I became president because T.K. Rajagopal was transferred from Chennai to Bangalore. He was the president of the time, and he was in Deccan Herald, and TKR was transferred. And I was actually made the president in 1988. You know, a few months thereafter, proper election took place. Because Ad Club was so popular, I had to stand for election, and there was a contestant standing against me. And it so happened that I became the president. And I'm just saying that to demonstrate the fact that it It is a popular club at that time. It continues to be a popular club now. And I'm sure it will be again a coveted club as we move forward. He was responsible for conducting a wonderful convention at that time. He reminded me earlier today of the theme also, competitive edge or something you said. And I'm sure he'll talk about that as we... So I'm sure he's going to give us more details of that because I don't remember. But, I have friends like K.S. Srinivasan, Rajan, all of them part of the committee at that time. For the first time, I think at that time, we used to meet in not a proper business room, but we used to go have a good evening with friends in the club. And our meetings were more a fellowship-oriented meeting than just a, conduct of meeting for an hour or so. And that's, I think, built a good bond between all the members of the executive committee, and we were able to achieve a lot more. I don't want to speak long. I was told I was supposed to speak for 2 minutes, but I just thought, going back in time, if you can repeat that fellowship-oriented meeting, you can achieve significantly more. That's the only thought I want to leave behind with the President and the Executive Committee today. Thank you.
Next up on stage, a long-standing member of the Executive Committee. He's known for his ready wit and quick repartee. He had the privilege of acquiring the club's own property in Carrick Centre in 1993. He was the president in 1992-93, and we are proud to honor Mr. Srinivasan. Can I have you on stage, Mr. K.H. Srinivasan?
Commerce graduation is too big a qualification since accounts were centralized in Bombay. He started pondering and said, "Look, boy, I want to accommodate you, but I cannot tell where." I said, "Sir, excuse me, advertising personnel are not born, they are made. You give me a job, I'll do it, and I'll prove it to you." For a second, he looked at me and laughed. "Sky is the limit." Done. I joined the scheduling department, where I used to go to Hindu very often for advertisement space. I joined the scheduling department. If it is not out of my place to share with you that I chose my life partner from client's office, World Trade Center, first ever project handled by HTA. My spouse, Lalita, who is here, was deputy exhibition officer. Interestingly, past President Srinivasan K. Swamy, in the year 1992, initiated me to act as president. I did my bit for the growth of the club. Thank you, Sundar. As IPP, I was the convener for the first Distinguished Service Award to Sri R.K. Swamy. We are 84 plus. My daughter and son are abroad, and we are happily settled in a retirement home, Columbia Pacific, Serinadina, near Vandanur. After 30 years, instead of standing, I'm sitting before you now. All is God's grace. Thank you.
All right. Once again, we're all set to meet another legend, ladies and gentlemen. It's interesting. The young old man, this is what he calls himself, a man who dreams big and achieves it, pioneered the concept of rural marketing in India and has authored many a book on this subject, fathered the PGDA course and set the foundation for the Center for Advertising, and he has done a wonderful job as a chairman of Golden Jubilee Celebrations Committee for the Advertising Club Madras. He was the president for the tenure 1993-95. Ladies and gentlemen, we're proud to honor Mr. R.V. Rajan.
Friends, it's fantastic to be among friends again after so many years. Let me first congratulate the Advertising Club Madras for, though they missed the Diamond Jubilee, they are celebrating the 65th anniversary celebrations and decided to recognize some of the past presidents. I came to Chennai in 1974. I have been a member of the ACT Club since then. But it's okay. But dropped into the active involvement by none other than Sundar Swami. In fact, I was actually with the PRSI. He pulled me out and said, come along, join the ACT Club. And we did a lot of things together. And 1988 was the year when I got roped in. From that year until 2005-06, when I became the chairman of the Golden Jubilee celebrations, I was actively involved for almost 18 long years. I have wonderful memories of my association with the club. I made some good friends through the ACT Club, with some of them we are still in touch. I would love to recall 2 or 3 names at this point, because while I did a lot of things in the front, there were some backroom boys who helped the club in a big way. First, I would like to name Janardhanan, who was the first admin secretary of the secretariat, permanent secretariat. In fact, I had the experience of dealing with him when I established the secretariat for Roundtable Madras, Roundtable India in Madras. And he really set up a nice thing, and he also helped run the course for the first 2 years. So Janardhan is a person whom I can't forget. Of course, first 2-3 years I was involved. Later on, Jagannath Ramaswamy carried on the torch of conducting the courses for the next 25 years. I think we must say a big cheer to him also, from my side. Next person is S. Krishna. In fact, he was a nightmare for most of the past presidents. Every time he would attend the AGM and ask all kinds of embarrassing questions. They were not embarrassing, they were genuine questions, so people used to avoid him. But I found he was genuinely interested, so I roped him to become the editor of Headline magazine, and he did a fantastic job for 6 years. Later on, when I took over the chairman of the Golden Jubilee Celebration Committee, he was a pillar of strength to me. I must quote one small instance, how tough it was to create the history of write the history. See, when I went to one of the past presidents, he was very active in keeping all the archive materials of the club. He had passed away. So I went to meet his wife. She said, what materials? I burnt everything. And she was very frank. She says, because of my husband's involvement in the ACT Club, our marriage broke, she said. So I said, we ran away from the place. So it was a tough job later on to get the information about when the club was started, etc. Fortunately, we had some material from the ACT Club Calcutta, and that was the starting point. From that point, Krishna really went around the place, meeting people and collecting information. He wrote the main story, and a lot of other people, including Mr. Murali, had contributed for the fantastic coffee table book on the Golden Jubilee of ACT Club Madras. Well, I've already mentioned about Janardhan, Jagannath Ramaswamy. Most important, I must mention Mr. Murali's support for this club. We have known each other from the time he was the treasurer of the Sisha Parent Teacher Association, of which I became president. Subsequently, through the ACT Club, through AMIC, through IFRA, it's a long association. And he's been a tremendous support to ACT Club Madras. Personally, in all of my activities, he has been a great support. At this juncture, I'm glad he's presiding over this function. And I always call him, he's a lucky mascot for me. Wherever I have any function, we always make him a chief guest. Thank you, Mr. Murali. Thank you, the ACT Club Madras, for calling me today to honor me. Thank you very much.
Next up on stage, a man with good ideas and sound logic. He provided the intellectual inputs in any discussion. Proudly referred as the face of HTA in Chennai, he had the privilege of conducting the most successful international event in the 50-year history of the club, Advertising Future Shock, a conference which was the talk of the ad industry in 1998. He was the president for the tenure, 97-98. It's my proud privilege to invite Mr. Jayaraj Rao on stage. Definitely would like to hear from you, sir. A few words.
Mr. Murali, our chief guest, and possibly our most favorite person in the advertising and media field. Everybody in the city loves Mr. Murali for various reasons. Paul Anthony, president of the ACT Club, executive committee, past presidents, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wonderful feeling to be part of this get-together. It's been almost 13 years for me since I've attended any media or advertising get-together, because I left Walter Thompson in 2009 And this is the first ever time I'm getting to meet professionals from the media and advertising field. So it is a very exhilarating feeling. And a few weeks back when Paul called me up saying, "Sir, are you free on the 29th of October? I said, yeah. I thought he may want me to come and give a speech or something like that. He said, no, we are felicitating the past presidents. I said, wow, wonderful thought. And I really wish this could be extended to, like what Arvi said, people who are also behind the presidents. The secretaries, for example, they are really hardworking. They are the ones who bring a lot of fame and a lot of traction to the ad club. So I hope someday you're going to be felicitating the secretaries and the executive committee members too. Just a couple of thoughts. One is, I left Walter Thompson 2009, and all I know is people from advertising and from media. It's a fantastic foundation for any kind of career which you want to choose. It's been about 9 years since I'm involved in the financial field. I'm helping a lot of family-run companies disinvest, sprucing them up over 3-4 years. I'm helping them disinvest with as little equity as they can. Having to dip deep into Excel sheets, making presentations to all the investors and finance companies. It gives you a fantastic foundation, this media and advertising field. It's a kind of a networking arena where it helps you gain confidence. It helps you understand all kinds of categories. I don't think there's any other field which exposes you or gives you so many windows to the world. So especially for the youngsters, Mr. Murli was mentioning that it's not attracting as many people or as much talent as it used to a couple of decades back. But the fact is, there are a lot of people who are coming into this field, especially in the area of social media, digital marketing, and a lot of other fields where they're no longer part of big entities, large buildings like like Walter Thompson or like Lowlintas or like O&M. They are far more smaller teams, 2s and 3s. I think, Paul, it'll be a great idea if you can get them together, make them believe that Advertising Club is possibly the only club across the country, possibly the second or third club which can bring in people from different fields together and bring back the glory, which I think all of us are yearning for. And what Sundar said, fellowship. Bring some of our oldies also to sort of help the current lot. A lot of office bearers who are doing a lot of work now currently. Try to bring us all together. I was trying, in fact, for the last 2 days to see who of the 6 people can I invite. I, of course, invited my family members. My wife runs the little theater. She has gone trick-or-treat with my daughter and my granddaughter. I have a 2-year-old granddaughter. So they've gone trick-or-treat. So I suddenly realized that I have nobody to call. And I wanted to pick up some of the executive committee members who used to help me out during the convention days, and I couldn't. So maybe Shiva and team can try to put together the contact details, put us on WhatsApp, make an Excel sheet of some of the old executive committee members, get us back together, get the network going, right? And who knows if most of us, I hope all of us will be alive in the next 10 years so that we can celebrate your 75th and make this ad club part of the media and the marketing fraternity. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, next up on stage, Professor Jagannath, as he's popularly known in the club, for the efficient manner in which he has been conducting the PGDA course for the last 25 years as a course director, a proud alumni of IIM Calcutta, and has served in agencies such as R.K. Swamy, HTA, Contract, Profad, and now runs his own agency, Crystal Communications, a friendly and ever-helpful soul who has been in the committee for over 30 years. He was the president for the tenure 1998 to 2000. It gives me immense pleasure inviting him on stage, and we're proud in honoring Professor Mr. Jagannath Ramaswamy.
I'm not going to give you a pedagogic or academic lecture, in spite of the fact that you've called me a professor. Thank you for it. Well, all I can say is I came into Ad Club because of a man sitting over here called K.S. Srinivasan. Okay? He is the one who pulled me in to the committee, not to the committee, to the membership, and then to the committee. And then on, like a leech, I have stuck on to Ad Club. Probably I'm the longest surviving executive committee member, not probably, definitely, in the club. Um, Thank you for tolerating me, first of all. And I've reached an age where basking in the past glory is the only solution available to me. I do it all the time. And in spite of it, you've decided to honor me today. I'm really thankful to all of you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Mr. Murali. Thank you.
Gentlemen, put your hands together. We're absolutely proud to honor Mr. Vijay Xavier. Yes? Definitely, we won't ask you, Mr. Vijay Xavier, was it easy to handle a brand like Hindu? We won't ask you that. But definitely, we'd like to hear a few words from you. Yes.
Mr. Murali, Paul, the executive committee members of the Art Club, happy to be part of the 65th anniversary celebration of the club. And it's a nice thought of the committee to have decided to honor the past presidents. I came into advertising club because of the person who now spoke about so much. When he ran the first advertising convention, he called me and said, you have to be in the club and I want you to handle the hospitality committee. That's how I came into Future Shock. And after that, and I wanted to leave, both Mr. Rajan and Jagu, from whom I took over, said, no, nothing doing. You're going to, while I was in the executive club, Jagu and Rajan insisted that I take over from Jagu, and that's how I became the president. Having said that, you don't become president and all that overnight. There's so many people who's worked behind the scenes to make you what you are. So I like to thank them. Let me begin with thanking the Almighty, my Creator, Lord and God, for abundantly blessing me with His grace. Then I have so many people to thank, but I have 7 specific people to thank to be what I am. 4 are from my agency, Lintas, which was my home of School of Advertising for 37 fun-filled years. The first one is my very first boss, Yamuna Prabhu. She taught me the ABCD of advertising. I never knew what a copywriter was and what an art director was. She taught me all of that. And she also taught me how to be tenacious, never give up. The second and third person were gladiators and Goliaths of the Indian advertising. Unfortunately, both of them passed away within 20 months in the recent past. The first of the 2 gentlemen is Mr. Jason Dikuna, the then chief executive, who hired me into Lintas. And he taught me how to be a team man and cohesively work and get the best synergy out of it. The next person is a legend who in the advertising world was called Alec Padamsee, a god. 2 words never existed in his dictionary. No, not possible. He used to call me Bete. Bete, people say no and not possible because of their inefficiency or lethargy not to work hard. Don't accept it. Push them. You'll get it. I learned it from him. Thank you, Alec. The 4th one is Mr. Chintamani Rao. When Linta started in Chennai, it was just a servicing agency. And then when we decided to have a full-fledged agency, Chinta was there. And suddenly from handling 3 people, we have to handle some 18 people. He taught me the art of man management. And all you guys know what kind of men and women that we had to handle in the agency, from the mild to the wild. Okay? So that are the 4 people. Then I have 3 clients from whom I've learned a lot. And I like to thank them here. The first one is the late Mr. V. Narayanan, of whom Jayaraj has also experienced, late chairman of Ponds. He taught me how to passionately be proactive. The second person is the gentleman from whom I received the award just now. Felicitation. Mr. Murali, who I serviced as a client also for 37 years, more than 3 years, 3 decades. When I worked with him on the International Advertising Convention, the lesson I learned from him is you don't have to shout and scream to get a job done. You can pat somebody on the back and get it done. He taught me the art of silent assassin. The last person, the third person that I would like to have, the legendary marketeer who had his brand from day one till today as the brand leader, Mr. Philip Eaton of MRF Tires, the Executive Director Marketing. He taught me that. So it is thanks to them, all of these gentlemen, that I'm here. And last but not the least, I like to thank two individuals who in my life. The first one is the person who endured tumultuous days and sleepless nights with me and journeyed along with me and been a tower of strength for me and has given me 43 years of blissful marital life, my wife Catherine, who is here. The second individual is my only child, my daughter, who sacrificed a lot of her childhood because I was not around. Thank you, Malvika. Thank you. Thank you all again.
Next up, another professor on stage, an English professor turned ad man with terrific connections in the ad world, was successfully running an agency, Sri Chakra Communications, that was behind a lot of Chennai brands. Ad Club Madras has been a great beneficiary of his connections, and he was the president for the tenure 2001-2003. Put your hands together all the way from Bengaluru, Mr. E.R. Srivatsa. Can I have you on stage? Thank you, sir, and definitely we'd like to hear from you. Thank you. Yes.
Good evening, friends. I am honored to receive this recognition, and thank you very much, Mr. Paul, and all the entire team and the Ad Club. Very kind of you to call and give us this kind of recognition. It is really heartwarming. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm immensely happy that I was associated with the Advertising Club probably from the mid-90s. And during my tenure as a president for 2 terms, there were many challenges. And of course, there were a lot of takeaways and learnings, and I treasure them all even today. My mentor and guide all through was Mr. Murli. But for him, I could have never been a president. I could have never done anything in the Advertising Club. Any time for anything, he was giving the kind of emotional support or any kind of support that was required. Well, here's a man who did everything for the Advertising Club and for me. I owe a lot to you, sir. I will always cherish the wonderful times I had with the team and that fraternity. And thank you all for all the help that you had rendered during my period and to the Advertising Club. Continue our traditions with the same vibrancy, Mr. Anthony. Cheers to you all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to remember Thiruvi Kalidas Avargal. Kali, to his friends, was a very versatile personality, an ad man, a writer, and a talented guitarist. He led a large number of delegates to the Asian Advertising Congress in Jaipur. This was the year 2003. He was the president for the tenure 2003-2005, and we miss you, Mr. Kalidas. And I request Mr. Vijay Xavier to please collect the felicitation on behalf of our friend that we have lost.
Prahlad Kalisan called me and said, Uncle, you and Dad were the 2 suit culture people in the Ad Club. So if Dad was there, you would have been in full suit also. So I request you to go and receive the recognition for Dad from there. This is to you, Kali, wherever you are, who was a very good friend of mine, and not just a friend, I serviced him for about 20 years as a client. Thank you, Kali. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for recognizing Kali in spite of his not being here.
Thank you, and we truly miss you. Now it's time to celebrate someone truly amazing, bubbling, enthusiastic, and hardworking. She was associated with Lintas and FC Biolka in Chennai and currently with TCS in Mumbai. The first ever lady president of the club in 65 years, initiated the Golden Jubilee celebrations with the unforgettable Living Legends Night. She was the president for the tenure, 2005-2006. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Minita Saxena. She's not here with us today, but we say thank you for all the amazing things that you have done. Next up, we also like to celebrate a proud alumni of IIM Ahmedabad, and he's someone who has had a lot of brands at Henkel India. He successfully now spearheads a personal branding program and also is part of conceptualizing new brands in the cosmetic industry. We truly are honored to celebrate Mr. Ranju Kumar Mohan, who's also not here with us today, but thank you so much for all that you have done. Next up, a meticulous planner and a committed professional, R. Sheshadri, former MD of Anugrah Madison Advertising, was the president of the club during 2008-2010. Known for his efficiency and relentless follow-up, he set himself specific goals and achieved them. It was during his year that the Tamil Advertising Awards was launched and a football and bowling tournaments were introduced. We take immense pride in honoring Mr. Sheshadri, and I request Mr. R.V. Rajan to collect the memento on his behalf. I know, you want the mic here.
Well, I must say, I've been a very lucky guy. As I mentioned in my 80th birthday event, I'm lucky to have a brother like Sheshadri, 14 years younger to me, but literally followed my footsteps in life, in advertising, whether it is president of the advertising club or Rotary Club or anything. Whatever I did, like Sundar saw me, followed the footsteps of his father, but went far beyond his father's steps. He went international, which Mr. Swami didn't. So like that, Sheshadri also followed my footsteps. And I always say, he was what was Lakshman to Lord Rama in epic Ramayana. Like that, Sheshadri was to me. And I'm happy that he's receiving the award, but unfortunately he's in Bombay, spending the Diwali holidays with his daughter and grandchildren. But I'll definitely pass on the good wishes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. It's also time to talk about an unassuming and silent worker who has held the reins of the finances of the club for over a decade, earning the nickname Treasurer Emeritus. He has been a backbone of the club for the last 16 years. He was running his own advertising agency, Ravi Publicities. The club crossed the magical figure of 1,000 members when he was the president in 1995-97. We're immensely proud to honor Mr. Harish, but he's not here with us today. So a big round of applause for Mr. C.D. Harish. All right, one big round of applause for all our past presidents. A nice, big, rousing round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to invite our honorable chief guest to share a few words with this august audience. Put your hands together for Mr. N. Murli Avargal. Director Kasturi and Sons, The Hindu, sir. You've mentored so many stalwarts and legends, so look forward to hearing from the silent assassin.
Paul Anthony, the president of Madras Advertising Club, the office bearers of the club and members, the distinguished and dear past presidents who have been friends of mine
over time and who have bestowed such affection and warmth to me that sometimes most of the time I'm overwhelmed and lost for words. I'm delighted to be a part of this 65th year celebration of Madras Advertising Club or Advertising Club Madras, because I've always felt and said also openly that naturally Mumbai being the capital of advertising, at least then, is the most active. But after Mumbai, no other club can beat Madras Advertising Club for its activities, for the caliber of persons that it had who involved themselves selflessly in the cause of the industry itself, and also for many of the functions and the other thing is, for me, it is like homecoming after, let's say, 20 years, almost 20 years, not really, because in a way, I was an outsider, insider of the Madras, of this club. Because without being a formal member, I've been here on so many occasions and I've had, whether as a lucky mascot or not, I don't know, but I've been involved in so many activities and conventions, particularly the large conventions of this club, that I owe a lot to this club, and I have a special place for the club in my heart. In fact, it is not because the club conferred on me the honor of the Distinguished Service Award after that legendary ad person, Mr. R.K. Swamy, and before another legend, S.R. Iyer or Mani Iyer. So that is one, but I don't know whether I'm deserving or not, but I have a real affinity towards this ad club. And I might say that going through the list of the presidents of the ad club so far, from 56 or 57, of course, the Hindu, our organization has been always supportive of the ad club and was also a corporate member. The first president was from Mr. S. Parsadi, the advertising manager of the Hindu, in 1956 or 57. Of course, I was in school then. Then the Hindu also has contributed two more persons as presidents of the ad club, Mr. C.G.K. Reddy, who was our dynamic business manager in those days, and Kalidas, who sadly passed away a couple of months or a month ago after the ad club kindly decided to honor him today along with the other past presidents. I have a lot of warm and very fond memories of my association with the ad club. In fact, my first tryst with the ad club, if I may say so, started somewhere in maybe late 80s when I was on the jury of the awards on a couple of occasions. But my deeper involvement really began when Sundar Swamy was the president of the ad club in 88, 89, and at the instance of his father, I couldn't say no to his father, he couldn't say no to his father, and there I was at this convention, helping them organize this convention, which, if I remember right, said advertising the cutting edge. It talked about the cutting edge that advertising provided to business and to the economy as a whole. So we had a variety of speakers. I clearly remember Ravi Maman, late Ravi Maman of MRF was there. So this was, I think, in 88. And also Venu Srinivasan of TVS Motors. So that was the convention, that my first tryst with the convention also. Because before that, I was not involved in organizing any convention or being closely associated with any convention. I always went as a participant to many conventions abroad, but not really the one like this. But then, what really was the
next one major event that the Ad Club organized, and I'm proud to have been part of it along with Mr. Balraman of Ponds, was Advertising's Future Shock when Jayaraj Rao was the president in the year 1998, because that was the first conference which was probably truly global in nature, if not in terms of the audience, but going by the speakers. Not only did we get a lot of overseas speakers, of course, enabled by the agencies from with their networks and their overseas offices, and some directly. And that provided a glimpse of what the future shock or disruptive trends that could emerge in not just advertising, in marketing itself. And I think that was an eye-opener. It was very well attended. And also the object then was to see that Chennai would emerge as the hub of knowledge and for conventions like this. Then there was the second future shock, where again I was involved when Vijay Xavier was the president, as he mentioned earlier. The first one had the novelty value, but by the second one, what really happened was everybody started having, whether it's future advertising conventions of this kind or brand events like CII, Brand Summit and so on. That's what, I must confess that in the last 15 to 20 years, I've lost active touch with the Ad Club, but it is really wonderful to see so many past presidents being felicitated today, and I've in fact closely interacted and worked with most of them in some event or the other, as they themselves said. I don't know whether they were too generous in their praise and saying I mentored them and so on. I think it is their own ability and their own merit that saw this Ad Club shine. And I was just, as one of them said, maybe a lucky mascot. The other thing I would like to point out is among the, I don't want to single out anybody because all of them have been very close to me. But I must only say that going over the list of the Ad Club presidents, Sri R.K. Swamy was the first one to just get out of this mold, become the president of various organizations, and remarkably, he smashed the bastion or stranglehold that Mumbai had on 3SFI president. And he became the first president of 3SFI from Chennai. But he was, before that, president of this Ad Club. And then, of course, R.V. Rajan, before his son Sundar Swamy. In fact, I keep telling him he's now an international ad celebrity. But of course, he followed in the footsteps of his father. But as Rajan said, he has gone far beyond. In fact, when father breached the bastion, Bombay bastion, as you may say, of the leadership or of the 3SFI, he smashed it to pieces. And he became a president for 3 terms, unparalleled in 3SFI history. Not just that, he is now, he has been a president of the International Advertising Association, and now the Asian Federation of Advertising Agencies. So this Ad Club has produced some great presidents. Of course, the membership has always supported the activities and held this together. What I notice in recent times is, of course, the face of the advertising industry and indeed the face of the media has also changed beyond recognition. There are far-reaching changes that have taken place in advertising, marketing, and in media. And we see that while I was telling somebody outside just before this meeting that advertising industry in general does not seem to attract the talent that it did in the 80s and 90s. Maybe, as someone was saying, they are now dispersed in various startups and various other media like social media and so on. The social media landscape has also fragmented what is media itself. And therefore, the mainstream media, I must confess, that is struggling a bit. In fact, I remember the days when, in the 90s particularly, in the flush of this liberalization, print media had a share of around 50% of the total ad spend in the country. Today, it is hardly 25% of the total ad spend. Of course, TV and electronic media has grown much faster, but the latest entrant, digital media, is catching up with everything. And now we see that digital media is almost 34 or 35% and bound to go up further. But also, what is another trend that is somewhat disheartening to media itself, but may not be to advertising industry, because the duopoly of Facebook and Google has the total gross advertising revenue of these two behemoths was more than the combined advertising revenue of 7 major media brands in our country, mostly the large TV brands, and then also the listed Bennett Coleman, of course, and the other listed print media companies. I think this is a trend that is probably unstoppable, because I learned that is in UK, the digital media ad spend on digital media is more than the combined advertising spend on print, TV, radio, and outdoor. So I think, I hope that day is not very close in India, but one can't be sure. The other thing I find is in recent years, while it may be said that the big advertising agencies with specialists in multiple disciplines and some small super specialists or boutique agencies have done reasonably well. But the middle-sized agencies are facing huge challenges, and a lot of them have fallen by the wayside. In a way, there has been a consolidation in the industry. And also, when I said the face of the industry has changed from what it was when we all started, that was those were the days of the full service agency. This unbundling happened about 20 years ago, and that process came to India too and was unstoppable. But what is happening now is there is demand from clients for integrated. So this created silos, and if the clients are to deal with different set of people for various needs, I think it's going to be very difficult for them. And therefore, but what's happening is also in these big agencies have units for multiple disciplines, as I said earlier, and they are able to handle under the same umbrella. But what the expectations of clients in the future is going to be very different. In fact, there is a feeling that the consumer behavior has changed so much that the advertising industry has not moved fast enough, or its model of silos is not fit for purpose. So there is a case in some clients' minds that what we need now is full funnel marketing, which means the top funnel, which is media-led and creating awareness, which is now mostly the advertising industry has mastered. You need also to engage with those consumers for converting them after creating awareness, and it is through activation, content partnerships, and other means. But also the bottom funnel, which is basically mastered by the new age clients through technology and data analytics. They have done this because they now call for more attribution in outcome after the top funnel media efforts. That is, after you create awareness through media, mass media. So it is going to be, the marketers now expect from the advertising agencies these capabilities. And if in Chennai the clients are to be exposed to what happens in other markets, I think ad agencies will have to bring in expertise from their network wherever they are. Another trend that is emerging is that creativity, there was an interesting survey done by Dentsu of CMOs in countries like UK, USA, India, China, and Brazil, where it emerged that the marketers are not satisfied now with the pace of change. In fact, they feel advertising agencies are lagging far behind the consumer trends. And therefore, what they need is creativity, horizontal creativity, that is creativity across every aspect of business, not just in campaigns and content, but in media, in customer experience management, and even in strategy and commerce. So it is going to be a whole new ball game that is emerging, whether the advertising agencies, as they are functioning today or as they are structured today, are able to cope with this. I'm not very sure, but I hope that they quickly adapt to the changing trends, which are challenging. In fact, with media fragmentation, print media is finding it difficult to, in fact, advertising revenue in print media has been through a secular or structural decline over the years, even before COVID. And during COVID, I think I must compliment all components of the ad industry for fighting it with resilience and coming out on the other side brighter, looking brighter. But what print media has lost during the COVID and before the COVID has not come back. And its share is now hardly less 25% or even less. So that is one aspect. I'm talking about print media because I come from print media, but that may be true of all mainstream media, because the social media is creating hell in the media space, except the only silver lining is some surveys have shown that readers still have faith and trust in mainstream media, and particularly print media. That is what we can hope for in the future. Whether it will be a mass media or a niche media, it will continue to be there in spite of digital taking over the our entire life, I should say, and commerce and all activities. So I think people of my generation who are now becoming dinosaurs. So I think it is for the younger people in the ad club and other younger professionals to equip themselves with the new challenges. And I wish them all the best. I must say, I congratulate and extend my warm greetings to the Art Club, the members of the Art Club, and all of the past presidents and office bearers who have built it, and it's now completed 65 years. And joined the ranks of senior citizens like some of us and some of the past presidents who were, or all the past presidents, I don't know about Sundar Swami, but all the others are senior citizens. Whether you can describe 60 as a cutoff for senior citizen or 65, I'm not too sure. Even if it's 65, a lot of us have. So this Art Club has become a senior citizen. I think it's time to reinvent itself and bring back some of the old glory. I think, I wish the Art Club and its present office bearers all the best for exciting challenges ahead. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that deserves a standing ovation. We can do that. Come on. He's been such a huge pillar of support for Advertising Club Madras. Our past presidents to please, join us on stage for a nice picture. Vote of thanks will be delivered by Mr. Chokolingam, who's the treasurer for Advertising Club Madras and also director of OPN Advertising.
It's an honor to be standing here. I'm really nervous and, okay, I'll start by saying I was lucky to enter the advertising industry in the year 1995. People used to say those were the golden days of advertising. But I think my entry changed that. So sorry about that. The golden days, no more. So that time, when I joined Lintas, Vijay Xavier used to quip, Chokka day, unnoda vayasu, ennoda experience, paathu nadandukko. And I still have a long way to go, sir, Vijay. See, advertising has changed so much since then. But one thing hasn't changed for me. Each one of you inspired me then, and you continue to inspire me now. I am truly honored to be standing in front of you. I'm grateful that I got to work with some of you. I got to learn from a lot of you. Thank you for showing us the path. This evening is a reminder to people like me of the legacy you all have created and left for us to take forward. It's also a reminder to us of what we need to do. I think we have to go a long way. We have a long way to go. We promise that we will do our best. On behalf of the Executive Committee and the office bearers, I thank Mr. N. Murli, Director, Kasturi and Sons, for presiding over this warm family get-together. That's what I see. Thank you so much, sir, for honoring us. And I thank each one of you past presidents and your family for taking time out to be here and making this a memorable evening. It's truly an honor again. And last but not the least, I thank the brain and soul behind this entire evening, Paul, Bala, Karthik, and the entire Executive Committee team, Shiva, Gopi, and Sano for hosting us. It's a beautiful host. Thank you so much. Please join us for cocktails and dinner. I hope you had a great evening.
Whistle போட அப்படின்னு யாரோ சொன்னாங்க, யார் அது? Okay, whistle போடலாம் நினைக்கிறேன். யாருக்கு அப்படின்னா, to all the families, the wives, the children, and for all those of you who supported in a big, big way and made this a success story. All right, it's time for me to sign off. Thank you so very much.